Hello there, Commonwealth from with the June Direct coming very soon. We should actually distinct what kind of games we can see, because in the final year of the Nintendo Switch before the succession, or Nintendo Switch 2, as we will call it for now, we have two types of really games. One is remakes, remasters and ports, and the other are brand new games. So in this video we'll be focusing on what brand new games we can still have on the Nintendo Switch, seeing that the first half of 2024 had really only one. So be sure to leave a like, subscribe and press that notification. We're gonna start out like we did in the previous video with The Legend of Zelda. Because in this case, yes, we could see Wind Waker Twilight Princess remake port, the same goes with A Link Between Worlds, Metroid from 3DS to Nintendo Switch, just like with Luigi's Mansion 2 these days. But I've seen a lot of people writing, oh, a new top-down 2D Zelda. I don't think that's gonna happen, and I'm gonna tell you exactly the reason why. Number one, it's too soon after Tears of the Kingdom. Number two, the Switch needs a brand new Zelda game, not just ports, remakes and remasters, before we get to the next open-air Zelda game, which is not going to be until 2028 probably. Of course, we could maybe see Hyrule Warriors Imprisoning War, but seriously, don't we want to see that game running in far better frame rate and resolution on the next system? It just makes sense, you know? In this case, it actually makes sense to have it on the next system. In other words, Zelda is not going to have a brand new game, but it's going to get probably a very good remake, remaster, or port. So that covers The Legend of Zelda pretty much. Let's move on to the next franchise, the Mario, a franchise that has had a lot of entries this year, but no brand new Mario game has still come out this year. We had Mario vs. Donkey Kong remake, we had Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door remake slash remaster, for me it's a remake, Luigi's Mansion 2 HD, which is more of an upscaling, and the brand new Princess Peach Showtime, which isn't a Mario game because Mario isn't in that game, and Mario isn't in the title of that game. We haven't had a brand new Mario game this year, and I actually think that's going to change because every 3 years or so we have a Mario Party game. And on the Nintendo Switch, we've only had one brand new Mario Party game, that being Super Mario Party. Mario Party Superstars was more of a collection. It was a remix of N64 boards and minigames from across the series, 100 of them to be precise. The time for a new Mario Party makes sense now that you have an install base of over 140 million Switches, and also the experience of Super Mario Party selling over 20 million copies. It would be a great holiday seller. It would be a game that will bring families together, especially when you can't offer a brand new 3D Mario game and Mario Kart, because you need it for the next system. You need those exclusives to get people to jump and transition over from the Switch to the successor, that being the Nintendo Switch 2. So I really do believe that Mario Party is Nintendo's big holiday seller this year, because Metroid, yes, even if Metroid Prime 4 was to come out this year, I think that game is not going to be able to sell close to what a Mario Party will. And we know this from experience as well. Especially if it's a very good Mario Party and blends the best elements from Super Mario Party and Mario Party Superstars when it comes to gameplay. I think that is the best and the only solution we have for a big brand new game. But there is another possibility, because back in 2016, and this is something we also talked about with Roger Space, we had the Rio 2016 Olympics. And in the same year, and very close to the Olympics themselves, Mario and Sonic at the Rio Olympic Games on the Wii U, close to its succession. In that case, the game came out in February 2016. It is just that when do you really want to play an official Olympic video game? It's obviously during the Olympics, or very close to the Olympics. And yes, we have Nintendo World Championships, also a new game, but in this case, it's a digital game, unless you get the deluxe edition of the game. So I would actually go out and say that this could very well be the game. Mario and Sonic at the Paris Olympic Games. I really think that it is a very fitting game to have, because Paris means a lot for Nintendo. We have seen that in Mario Kart, we see that with Pokémon Legends Set A, and it wouldn't surprise me if Nintendo has decided, you know what, we need a party game that isn't just a Mario Party, but is also a sports game. Because when we think about it, it's been 2 years since we had the previous Mario sports game, that being the previous Mario Strikers. And last year we didn't have a sports game. So what if this is it? We know that the Paris games are going to be in very unique locations. The Eiffel Tower is heavily featured in a number of the events, while we know that the Palace of Versailles in the equestrian events. there's just so many possibilities because Paris is using a lot of their famous landmarks as stages for these Olympic Games, including the triathlon, which is literally swimming in the Seine River. You will have events in front of the Place de Concorde. You need a game that can restore the honor of the Olympic Games as a video game, and I think this could really be it. And it could also tie well with Sonic Shadow Generations, which is sort of a crossover in itself, and just have Mario and Sonic with that character as well then. We know that Nintendo World Championships is coming out July 18th. We know that Luigi's Mansion 2 HD is coming out June 27th. Somewhere in between there will be the perfect slot for Mario and Sonic at the Paris 2024 Olympic Games. I don't feel like there's going to be any other Mario games. 2025, obviously, Mario Kart and or a new 3D Mario. It wouldn't surprise me if it's actually both next year. But that's obviously not going to be revealed here because it's for the next system. Which means that we can move over to the next franchise, Metroid. We know about a new game in development, and we've known about it for 7 years now, actually. Some of you may remember my crazy reaction with Joseph Ferris of Metroid Prime 4 from E3 2017. Well, I hope it's time to finally see some gameplay. I really hope that'll be the case, especially if it's tied to a reveal and maybe even shadow drop of Metroid Prime 2 Echoes Remastered. But I really feel like we can't go through this presentation without finally seeing some kind of gameplay or trailer of Metroid Prime 4. I think it's just been too long. We've gone through this entire generation, and if this is the final exclusive Nintendo Switch Direct, it just makes sense to give us a taste of Metroid Prime 4 on the Nintendo Switch first, before the marketing shows us a far more superior version of the game, at least from a graphical perspective, on the successor. Metroid Prime 4 is a brand new game that is probably still going to be on the Nintendo Switch. I believe are likely to see in this presentation. That is Metroid. We can move over to the next franchise, and the brand new game there is Pokémon Legends ZA, which, unless there is a preview that some are teasing on X, or it's part of a Nintendo Direct itself, and of course it is a part of the preview, it wouldn't surprise me if Pokémon Legends ZA, one of the final brand new Switch games, and the final brand new Pokemon game for the Nintendo Switch, will actually be in this Nintendo Direct. You want to market it in advance. And even if it was to come out also with a Switch 2 version, well, then you need to show it how it looks on the Switch first, before showing what is going to be on the Switch 2, just as we had talked about in the case of Metroid Prime 4. So there you definitely have a brand new game, because everything else seems to be remakes, remasters, and ports in regard of almost every other franchise. Fire Emblem, for the West, is a genealogy of the Holy War, is a brand new game. But for Japan, it isn't. It's a remake. Well, we could, of course, get, I don't know, a brand new side Kirby game. But of course, it's not going to make a big dent in the sales number, okay? And if we look at the indie front, we have Hollow Knight Silksong. It's a game that we have waited for such a long time to finally reappear after being last physical E3, that being in 2019, at said E3 for Nintendo. So if any time, and if the game is coming out to the Switch, well, there's no better fitting time than now to show it and confirm that it is coming out to the Nintendo Switch day one, along with the other systems. So could it be a brand new third-party game? Not counting, of course, Mario and Sonic at the Olympics. I don't really feel like it unless you count Sonic and Shadow Generations. Yeah, it's sort of a new game, you know, with elements that were not in the original Sonic Generations. But outside of that, Capcom could surprise us. We just got the Mega Man games, the Game Boy games, as the update for Game Boy Nintendo Switch Online. We don't know if Nintendo 64 Switch Online is going to get something new. Donkey Kong getting a brand new game. Well, Donkey Kong 64 doesn't count as a brand new game. That's, of course, Nintendo Switch Online. But I wouldn't exclude everything. Like, we could get a side game from Donkey Kong. A brand new Donkey Kong, however, is going to be skip generation and come back probably on the next system. Even though Super Nintendo World is opening the Donkey Kong Country section, I think it's just better to market this together with the new Mario movie, for example, especially if it has heavy involvement with Donkey Kong. We all know that towards the end of the Super Mario Bros. Movie, there was a big collab with Donkey Kong, with gameplay being demonstrated as well within the Mushroom Kingdom. Not just Mario Kart, not just the duel they had in Donkey Kong Country. So it wouldn't surprise me if this is one of the early Nintendo Switch 2 exclusives in this case. But anyway, that is the list, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, we are very close to Nintendo Direct. And hopefully we get more brand new games than even listed in this video. Because yeah, 2024 has been kind of slow when it comes to brand new games. So if you haven't already, be sure to leave a like, subscribe and press notification bell. Of course, do not miss any of our Nintendo Direct videos, which there will be a number of. And a big shout out as always to all our patreon.com/comearound patrons, and in particular to our royal producers and Patreon heroes. You all rock, and please enjoy one or both of these two awesome videos.